Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my home. Welcome to my kitchen. Today, we are going to make cornbread dressing, Southern style cornbread dressing. And we're going to do it from start to finish. So this video may take a little long, but the end result is going to be well worth it. The first thing we're going to do is the cornbread. Now, I'm going to read off my ingredients for the cornbread. And what we have here is 1 cup of cornmeal, 1 cup of flour, 2/3 cups of masa flour, 2 cups of milk, 1 teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of baking powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda, 3/4 cups of sugar, 3 eggs, and about a half a cup of oil. Use whatever type of oil you like. If you like Crisco, if you like canola, if you like savory buttery oil, which is my favorite, the savory butter oil. The only oil I would say don't use, and I've never used it, and I don't think I want to try it, is olive oil because they say it's too heavy. You really want a light oil. Also, if you want to use butter, a stick of melted butter. That's always good. Now, let's get to it. This is my milk. If you don't have buttermilk, use 2 cups of regular milk. It could be 1%, 2%, skim milk, whatever. And just put a cap full of white vinegar in it. Let it sit for 5 minutes and you are going to get that buttermilk taste. So, this is 2 cups of milk. Two eggs. I'm going to eyeball this. About a half a cup of buttery oil. Or you can mix the butter and oil together. You know, you might want to go half butter, half oil. Just get a half a cup. It doesn't matter. Take this, let me stir this up. And all my ingredients, my flour, all the ingredients I read off to you, all the dry, is right here. This is it. Right here, all the dry ingredients. Just stir it up good. Now just add. Done. If you find that your cornbread is maybe a little too thin, just add a little bit more flour. So all you have to do is add a little bit of flour. Perfect. Prepping this recipe is your hardest work. Everything else is good to go. Make sure you heat your skillet, frying pan. Got to heat that up. You just put enough oil to coat the bottom, but I always spray mine with some type of spray coating. This is really good. I got this at Costco. Sprays really well, comes out really good. Everything is all good with this one. So let's get cornbread in here. And this is just enough for 1 pan. And what you want it to do, you want it to cook a little bit. Because you want to make sure that that bottom, you have a nice crust on the bottom. Not a burnt crust, but a nice crust on the bottom. So I'm going to turn this up just a little bit and let this cook for a few minutes. I've already preheated my oven to 325. Okay, we're getting the cornbread. This is for our dressing. The next thing we're going to do, we're going to make our croutons. I do not buy croutons. I make my own. I always have some type of bread laying around. I always have some type of bread in the freezer So I just took out 9 pieces of bread. And what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to stick this in the oven and let this come up until it's crispy, crispy, toasty. Check this in about 5 minutes. Make sure I set my timer. Next step, while we're waiting for the cornbread to go in, make sure you have, for your dressing, you want a half a bell pepper. And what I used red bell pepper, green bell pepper, and orange bell pepper. So that's 1.5 bell peppers. I used 3 small onions, and I used about 6 stalks of celery. So what we're going to do, what I did, I just chopped them, you know, big chunks like this. So you just put them in your food processor if you have one, because this is too much work to be doing by hand. And you just let it go. You put all your vegetables in your food processor and you just start to pulse. Let's get this on pulse. Put it on. Yeah. Just that quick. Oh, there we go. You guys see that? Just that quick. And what we're going to do with this, we're going to take this. I have another frying pan over here, ready to go. And you're just going to put your vegetables in here. And remember, it looks like a lot of vegetables, but these vegetables are going to cook down to nothing. It looks like a lot, but you need a lot because it's going to cook down to absolutely nothing. This is the last of it. Done. That's it. It's just that simple. It's just that quick. It's just that easy. The rest of it in. The only thing we're going to do is we're just going to let this cook. We're just going to let this saute. You can put oil in the pan. You can use butter. Use what you like. Most people, when they're getting ready for Thanksgiving and they're making their Thanksgiving dressing, what they do is they'll have the dressing made. Some people make their dressing months in advance, okay? You make that dressing, you stick it in the freezer because they always say use old bread, or you make it a week or 2 ahead of time, stick it in the refrigerator or the freezer. And I do the same thing from time to time, but today I am making the dressing from start to finish. Let's check on our bread, which is our croutons. Nope. Still soft. I'll check them in 10-minute increments. Okay, I'm going to turn off the cornbread. Now we're going to take this cornbread and put it in the oven. And this should be ready in approximately 30 minutes. Maybe 40. But I'm going to say 30. The cornbread's in the oven. Croutons are in the oven. You got your celery, bell pepper, and onion sautéing. We're going to cook that down till it's nice and good. We're going to get all that good going on over here. And then we will be back. Just removed the croutons from the oven about 10 minutes ago. And now I'm getting ready to remove the cornbread. I just did a taste test of the cornbread, as you can see. And also the vegetables are ready. See how they just cook down into nothing? Straight up nothing. So you might want to use a little bit more or a little less more. So we're going to go straight into the sink. And I'm going to get this dressing together. So I'm just scooping out the cornbread, and it is hot. Stir the cornbread up. Now you take the bread, and you want this bread really, really crunchy. You know, you want it to just really just dry out. I mean dry. Dry like the Sahara. The Sahara Desert dry. So just crack open the, break open the bread, and any kind of bread. Whatever bread you have in your freezer, that's what you use. If you got wheat bread, white bread, Wonder bread, artesian bread, potato bread, any kind of bread you have in your freezer, just take you out some slices, put it in the oven, and just let it bake on 325 until it's completely dried out. See how they cook down to nothing? Told you. Cook way down. This is what you want. When it seems like it's too much, and cut another onion or bell pepper. This is 1.5 bell peppers, 3 medium onions, and about 6 stalks of celery. We got our bread broken up, so everything is in croutons. And now we're just going to stir it up. Now this is enough dressing. This is really a lot of dressing. And this is enough dressing for one of those half sheet pans. Those half sheet pans. This is enough for that. So, okay, we got all that incorporated. Now, let's go with the seasonings. I'm putting in the sage. This is about 2 tablespoons. And remember, you have to taste. You have to taste. Oregano. This is not oregano. This is poultry seasoning. It said organic. I thought that said oregano. Okay, I'm going to use some pollo. When you use this, be careful adding other salts because this is salty and it's very, very flavorful. I'm not using any canned broth. That's why I'm using that pollo. And I love garlic. So garlic goes in here. And one more seasoning I need to put in here, and that is onion powder and pepper. I'm going to put some black pepper in here. Like I said, taste as you go. Make sure it's to your liking. Because you do not want nobody saying who mama made the dressing. And if your ingredients are cool enough to handle, okay, they're warm though. mix it with your hands. It's always good if you can get down in there with your hands. Use your hands. I'm also going to add melted butter. I'm just going to go with 1 stick. Now this is the consistency you want it. Just like that. I've melted down 1 stick of butter. And now is a good time to do a taste test, which I've done my taste test, and make your adjustments. Whatever you need to add to it. Because remember, you can always add, but you cannot take away. And I'm going to add just a little bit more garlic. And a little onion powder. I added just a small amount of Tony Chachere's Creole seasoning. I put some of that in here because I didn't use a lot of the pollo, so I didn't overdo it with that. So now the flavors are just fine. So the next step is, let's add the butter. Put this butter in here. And use the same pan that you cook those vegetables in for this butter. You don't have to mess up everything. 1 stick should be sufficient. If you like more butter, add 2 sticks. Mix it to your liking. Cream of chicken soup. I have a large can here. Get that incorporated in here. Still dry. Next thing I'm going to add is 1 can of evaporated milk. Evaporated milk, pet milk, any type of canned milk. Not condensed milk, but just regular old canned milk. And the last no, not the last ingredient. Well, I've done my taste test, so I'm done with that. Now we're going to add the eggs. Once you put the eggs in, game over. No more taste testing. This is 2 eggs. And the key to cooking is prep time. You want to make sure everything is prepped. Now, let's add the water in lieu of broth. And when you add your water, add it a little at a time until you get the consistency that you want. Because you can always add it, but you can't take it out. That should be enough. And this is what you want your dressing to look like. And the smells, oh my goodness, it smells so good. I have a greased baking dish that we're going to use. This is way more than enough. But I don't need all of this, so I will be sharing. This is what I'm going to cook for my household. Whatever you see in this pan, that's it. The rest goes to another house. And I'm going to take some foil and cover this up and put this back into the oven for approximately 40 minutes. And when you put foil on top of this, what you want to do, you want to take your foil and you want to spray the top with the spray coating. I find that it really, really helps. That way you don't have to worry about anything sticking to the top. And then about the last 10 minutes of cooking, you might want to remove the foil. Now this is ready for the oven, and I'm going to bake this at 325 for approximately 30 to 40 minutes. I decided to cook some yams. Found me one more yam I had over here. So what I've done, I got my little container out that I'm going to cook it in. I cut up one yam. Each yam weighs about a pound. Okay? Sprayed the container already. This is the way I cut it up. Everybody has their own unique way of cutting. This is how I like mine. I'm going to add brown sugar. This is so simple. Cinnamon. Nutmeg. Butter. And vanilla. You can use pure vanilla. This is pure vanilla. Or you can use imitation vanilla. It's still going to be good. I'm going to do 2 little capfuls of vanilla. And I'm going to add just a little bit of water from my Brita. You don't need a lot, just a little bit. Coat that bottom. Now, let's take some foil. Let's cover this up. I'm going to double foil it. So we're going to put this in the oven and we're just going to let it bake until done. I'm putting a little slit in the top so that it can vent. Because if you don't slit it, what's going to happen is when the steam comes up, everything's going to be running over. And if you haven't vented, what's going to happen is everything's going to be coming up. You're not going to be losing anything. Okay. That's ready to go into the oven. Thank you for allowing me to show you how I am making my Thanksgiving dressing this year. The Thanksgiving dressing came out very nice. The candied yams, very nice. And now, dinner is served. I hope you try these recipes. The dressing, the yams, simple, quick, easy, made from scratch. Everything is made from scratch, and you and your family will love it. I have enjoyed making this video for you. So if you could please hit that subscription button, hit that notification bell, comment, Give me a thumbs up. Like, share this video with others so they can see how we make our Thanksgiving dressing over here at Eating with Food for Thought Roberts, aka the personal chef, aka the auntie. Thank you, everybody. Try this dressing and try these yams. You will not be sorry. Oh, and another thing before I go, please, please, please do not wait until the last minute to start your cooking for Thanksgiving. If you do that, you are going to be miserable. If you shop 1 or 2 days before Thanksgiving, and then you have to cook and you have to bake and you have to do all the prep, and really there's no one to help you but yourself, you are going to be miserable. Okay? Now, if you need to know how to make macaroni and cheese, if you're looking for a macaroni and cheese recipe, you may already know how to make macaroni and cheese, but you're looking for a new recipe, I have a macaroni and cheese recipe. Check it out. You're looking for a gravy recipe for your Thanksgiving meal, I have a gravy video. Check it out. This video is a start to finish how to make that dressing and get it on the table in the same day. And cooking your candied yams. Thank you, everybody. I'm out.